Monday mornings, starting here on out, until the end of the college football season, I will give you my top 10 teams. I will go ahead and list off who I think impressed and which teams absolutely made headlines and were superstars. So I'm not going to waste any time. Michael, start the music. Let's knock out a couple honorable mentions. First up, Kansas State. They were able to handle business against Troy. I don't think you guys understand. Troy's a very good football team. They're going to find a way to hold their own in the likes of the Sun Belt. And Kansas State made sure that they did not hold their own in Manhattan. This was a big win for the likes of Will Howard. This is a good win for the rushing attack. They were able to put on a clinic that made a lot of people question what could happen if the Little Apple actually becomes the big team in the Big 12. Oregon survives in a massive scare against Texas Tech. But Bo Nix looked good. He threw for over 300 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for, I think, like 45 yards. They were able to capitalize in the second half based off mental errors by Tyler Shuck. They go 2-0, but they're not a top 10 team. Utah survives a massive scare against the Baylor Bears in Waco, but they are 2-0. That just shows you I know what I'm talking about when I say Kyle Whittingham is underrated in college football. Tennessee, they get a win over Austin Peay. It was a very underwhelming performance by the offense. This is supposed to be go. It was stop most of the time. But hell, you're 2-0. Congratulations. Some people say you're a top 10 team. I am not one of them. And last but certainly not least, the biggest surprise, I have Ohio State outside the top 10. Listen, you got to win. You're 2-0. Congratulations to Marvin Harrison Jr. for waking up and showing, hey, I still exist. But you didn't beat the spread against Youngstown State. You went 35-7, 28-point differential. That's not going to cut it in the Big Ten with teams like Penn State and Michigan still making headlines. Number 10, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yeah, I know. Alabama lost. I get it. Go ahead and get the jokes in as much as you can right now. This is still a very good Alabama team. How they respond will truly dictate what the rest of the season unfolds. They were able to make a lot of noise, even though they had so many mental mistakes. Like Jalen Milroe, when he's able to uncork it, you see the arm talent. But they got to figure out the quarterback position. They've got to be better against defending the run. They have to be able to be a more dynamic defense and add more pressure in the backfield. But I still believe that they are a top 10 team in college football, plain and simple. Next up, LSU. I believe LSU needed to have a reality check. And that's why you schedule games like the one against Grambling after you face off against a very good Florida State team. Jaden Daniels went off, 5 touchdown passes. Logan Diggs had a big breakaway run of 21 yards. He had 115 on the day. Malik Neighbors had a good day. Brian Thomas had a good day. Kyron Lacey had a good day. The defense responded. They played great in the second half. They dismantled Grambling after the first quarter. And they really do look like still a top 10 team in college football. You can't sleep on them just because of one bad performance. Next up, number 8, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's different when you are a team that has to play catch-up and when your defense starts to allow an opposing offense to slowly work their way back into a game. How you respond truly dictates how good you can be. And Notre Dame responded. Sam Hartman finished with 4 touchdowns. That's a good day. Audric Estime finished with 2 rushing scores and 134 yards. That's a good day. The defense forced 3 turnovers, 2 of which came in the second half. That's a good day. Notre Dame is going to stick around and be able to find out if they legitimately can run the table through the independent and find a way to make it to 11-1. If they make it to 11-1 with their schedule, games against Pitt, games against Duke, games against Clemson, they're going to be a legitimate college football playoff contender. Number 7, USC. I like USC. I like their offense. I think they are a very sound team. They have weapons beyond belief. Like Zachariah Branch once again makes the highlight play on special teams, runs it back for a massive touchdown on the punt return. They're going to mess around and really show other programs, hey, don't sleep on us. If you mess with us at the wrong time, we're good. But still, this defense, they only allowed 10 points. That's one storyline. You do realize that they still allowed over 349 yards to a Stanford offense that probably is going to average at best 265 throughout the season. there are still major questions on that side of the football that I need to see answered. And until I do, I can't put them any higher. Great offensive execution. Still don't believe in them defensively. Still can't. Number 6, Penn State. Penn State has a rushing attack. And that's going to be the way that they win games against other opposing teams in the Big Ten. Nick Singleton went off. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. Katron Allen averaged 5.4 yards per play, rushed for over 100 yards. Drew Aller was fine, 204 passing yards. Defensively, yeah, you're fighting the Blue Hens. Cool. I don't really care. Delaware is an FCS school for a reason. But the fact is that you still got a turnover. You still added incredible pressure. And you still were a team that punched their ticket and kept their foot on the throttle throughout the entire process. I like this team. I like Penn State. I believe they are going to be one of the best teams in the Big Ten. And I believe that they can go toe-to-toe with Michigan. And they're already a cut above the likes of Ohio State. Number 5, Texas. They're not back. I will not say it. But the way that they played against Alabama not only gives you hope, but it definitely shows you that they are the team to beat in the Big 12. They can hang with anybody in college football. They mean business, and offensively, they have the weaponry to go ahead and punch their ticket to the college football playoff. Quinn Ewers had a good day. Xavier Worthy had a good day. A.D. Mitchell had a good day. Ja'Tavion Sanders had a good day. Defensively, they were able to be a mismatch nightmare, especially in the rushing attack. They held Alabama to 3.1 yards per play and 107 total rushing yards. This is an Alabama team that is going to be predicated on the ground and pound attack. They made them obsolete. They were a one-dimensional offense, and that's because of what Steve Sarkisian has implemented. I am a believer in Texas this year. It's hard for me not to be. They're not BACK, but they are working their way into the conversation of being a legitimate national title contender. Number 4, Washington. I am much higher on Washington than most. I get it. I understand that they still are a team that hasn't really been tested just yet. But Michael Penix Jr. is the truth. Michael Penix Jr. is still my pick to win the Heisman. They have weapons. They have so many weapons at this disposal. Jalen McMillan, Roma Dunze, Jalen Polk, Jermaine Bernard. They all finished with at least 40 receiving yards. 2 of them had over 100 receiving yards. Both Aduzie and McMillan had touchdowns. You also were able to run the football extremely well against Tulsa, averaged 5 yards per play, 3 rushing touchdowns. Washington, in my opinion, is the most complete team right now in the Pac-12. There's a reason why I have them in the college football playoff. Number 3, Florida State. TVMA is the only way you can put this game. They showed that last week against LSU was not the end. It was only the start. And you know what? 66-13, that's a good way. Jordan Travis, yeah, he can throw the football, but the rushing attack is the main story. They averaged 8.3 yards per play, 300 total yards on the ground. Not to mention Trey Benson went off with 3 touchdowns. Kaiser Holmes had 1 touchdown run. Lawrence Tokiel had 10.3 yards per play. They are the team to beat in the ACC, in a very good ACC. The more these teams continue to improve every single week, the more ranked wins show up on Florida State's schedule. And at that point, you can't count them out. You have to include them in every single college football playoff format. Number 2, Michigan. Michigan had a very good day, and J.J. McCarthy had an exceptional day. 88% completion rating, 278 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. The rushing attack is still there. Blake Corum had 3 rushing scores. McCarthy had a big run. You also had Donovan Edwards basically be obsolete, but you know what he can do in the open space. This is a very, very, very good Michigan team, and I believe that Michigan is going to win the national title as of right now. I need to see them get tested a little bit more, but I'm not doubting on this team. Neither should you. And number 1, only because I can't move them down until they give me a reason, Georgia. 45-3 win over Ball State. Carson Beck did fine. 2 touchdowns, 283 yards. The defense did great when it came to forcing turnovers, 3 interceptions. Not to mention they have a great rushing attack. Roderick Johnson, Dylan Bell, Kendrick Milton, averaged 3.5 yards per play, 3 touchdowns inside the red zone. They still are the team to beat in the SEC. Now, this week against South Carolina, they're going to be tested. We'll have a better inclination on who actually is the number 1 team in college football after we see the Gamecocks potentially get the massive upset in week 3. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.